And welcome to Beat the Bookie. I'm the guy that's here to enhance your bank account, Ben Spector. Now, this week is one of the craziest betting events in the world. But look, this is March. There will be madness. So you see this bracket? I'm not here to make it perfect. No, in fact, you can rip it up. You can throw it out. This isn't about the perfect bracket. This is about money. And before we dive into the fun, though, we must acknowledge Annie Claff's performance. Annie won $2.96. And listen, anytime somebody finishes in the green, it's great. I can't tell the difference between green and red, but that's just what people tell me. So let's see how Annie compares to the rest of the standings from this semester. Look at Liam Griffin, $62 in the profit. Jesse Cook right behind him after a stellar fall semester, and you just have to feel for the guys at the bottom, Joe Puccio and Jack Gordon. I respect their work. What I don't respect is their betting advice this semester. They can't be that deep in the red. All right, that's the standings from this semester, so we move to our big games.
Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money! Show me the money!
All right, let's start with the SEC champion in the East region. Now, if this were a competition in any other game besides maybe like football, yeah, I'd probably pick the Bulldogs, but the Tigers are hot right now. The only team in the country to have a top 10 scoring offense and a top 10 scoring defense this season, according to Ken Pom. You ask? Yeah, that's Auburn. The Tigers ran away with the SEC, and Yale barely got by Brown in the Ivy League championship. Auburn is playing its best ball right now, and to think it can beat Yale by at least 13 points is reasonable. So reasonable that we're putting 10. That's many balloons on the Tigers, minus 12.5. Hard to believe in a Yale side that had some nail biters in the Ivy League tournament. We move to a 6 versus 11 matchup in the West region now. Number 11 New Mexico versus number 6 Clemson. This is an interesting matchup because in December, Clemson was one of the best teams in the ACC. Roar, roar, though, this game is played in March. The Tigers, in the second round of the ACC tournament, lost to Boston College. Okay. The loss is one thing, and this kind of stuff happens, right? But the Eagles won by 21 points. Look, Clemson needs Joe Girard and P.J. Hall to both be clicking. That's a tall task these days. New Mexico just won the Mountain West with wins over San Diego State, Boise State, Colorado State. I'm telling you, please ride the hot hand in March. $10 on New Mexico, minus 2.5. Now, this 5 versus 12 matchup in the Midwest region, people seem to want to mess with. Gonzaga versus McNeese State. I get the reasoning. For starters, it's a 5 versus 12. That seems to be the lowest hanging fruit for upsets. Plus, this is a Cowboys side coached by Will Wade, former LSU coach, who has had success, and this is a team that has 30 wins, which is definitely appealing. But are we forgetting about the opponent? This is no wash away 5 seed. This is Gonzaga. Mark Few is still on the sideline coaching, with Graham Ike handling the glass and Tom Watson stretching the floor. That front court is lethal. This is a Bulldog side that is hungry. So give me Gonzaga minus 5.5 for 10 burgers and watch Mark Few's squad cook for 40 minutes. For the final big game, we meander our way to the south. Number 4 Duke, number 13 Vermont. Look, I'm not sure there is much debate over who's going to win this game. Lots of brackets have the Blue Devils, and rightfully so. So that's not where I'm going to try and get you. But this is a Duke team that, much like Gonzaga, is hungry. And the Blue Devils lost to the eventual ACC champion in NC State down in Washington, D.C. But behind Kyle Filipowski, Tyrese Proctor, and Jared McCain, the Blue Devils will score a ton. Remember, Duke has a top 3 scoring offense in the ACC and a top 3 scoring defense in the conference, and the Catamounts have a middling offense in the America East. I know the song says 2 days into college, but I'm saying 1 day into the tournament, and Duke is winning by at least 13. Blue Devils minus 12.5, 10 doubloons on that one. Let's go. Now let's see how my picks go up against the C-suite. This is a semester-long running total regarding the big games. That is a fantastic picture. You got mozzarella cheese, broccoli, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about these bets. We agree on Auburn. We agree on New Mexico. I'm on the ground there too. I took a pretty hard fall in that basketball game. 1 minute, 0 for 1 from 3. We agree on all of these except for Duke and Vermont. That is just wild, by the way, from the producers. Executive producer Jordan Leonard is really just cooking up these pictures. That's photoshopped AI, whatever you want to call it. But look, we disagree on the Duke thing. I think the Blue Devils can really put up points and go on a lot of runs in this game. This is more of me being a believer in the Blue Devils than me dissing what the Catamounts have to offer. All right, we move to more picks, and let's go to another 6 versus 11. Oregon, a team on the bubble, makes its way into the NCAA tournament with a Pac-12 championship and takes on South Carolina. It feels like every time the Ducks are in the dance, they quack. Dana Altman has a way of getting the best out of his players in March. The Gamecocks struggled in the SEC tournament, and leading scorer Michi Johnson has just 9 points in the conference's postseason. That's 2 games. That won't fly in the NCAA tournament. But you know what will? Ducks, and they fly together. Give me 10 feathers on Oregon money line. We switch over to a 4 versus 13, Samford versus Kansas. Now this is a pick that's more about Kansas than Samford, and it has nothing to do with results, which is kind of ironic because the teams play for results. Anyways, the Jayhawks had so much promise throughout the year because of the duo in Hunter Dickinson and Kevin McCullough, KU's 2 leading scorers. But what if I told you that Bill Self announced that McCullough is out for the dance and Dickinson suffered an injury during the Big 12 tournament, still expected to participate in March Madness? Would you trust that offense in the Jayhawks? Would you trust a Samford offense to carry in an over-under situation? No. And I firmly think this will be a low-scoring affair. I'll put 10 diamonds on the under of 152.5. Now let's 2C slide over our way to the East region because Drake, Drizzy, Aubrey Graham is ready to be quite the headline and take down Washington State. Drake has the hype after controlling, see what I did there, Indiana State in the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. The Bulldogs are nonstop, can elevate their game when needed to, and take care of the basketball. This feels like a one dance where 2-time MVC Player of the Year Tucker DeVries can take over. And trust me, I got some love deep inside of me for the prolific scorer. So let's make a fair trade. I'll give you 10 bands for Drake minus 1.5, and you get to have a rich flex. That sound good? Sounds pretty good to me. One last isolated game bet for you. We go to Corncob TV for Nebraska versus Texas A&M. Now look, I love Nebraska. This is a team that hadn't made the big dance since the 2013-14 season, and behind Fred Hoiberg finally made it. This is no consolation prize though. The Cornhuskers are ready to compete behind 3-point specialist Keisei Tominaga. Expect the Big Ten to show its dominance and Nebraska to be a part of it. I got the Huskers minus 1.5 over Texas A&M, 10 corn cobs on that one. For my future pick, there's no need to get fancy here. UConn is the best team in the country. The Huskies are hot right now, and you might be nervous to pick them to win it all because no team has done it since the mid-2000s with Florida. But hey, I'm here to calm those nerves, tell you that the University of Connecticut, located in Storrs, great area, great people, will win the national championship back-to-back. 10 Huskies on that bet. Lock it in. Let's go. So now let's look at the other future bets out there. Jack Gordon lost his future bet with his first touchdown in the Super Bowl. A lot of good ones. I love that number 4 spot. Joe Puccio, Aaron Judge, the home run king. I can get all over that. What I don't love, Liam Griffin picking Purdue. Really? There's no need to do that. UConn is winning the national championship. The Huskies are the best team in the country. This is my favorite part of the entire show, the parlay. I mean, the stakes are extremely high here, so point blank, this is why we play. Let's dive right into it. The first of 3 legs, Colorado State money line over Texas. Look, Max A. Smith is a stellar guard for the Longhorns who had a spectacular run with Oral Roberts a few years ago. But if the head coach in Rodney Terry is making rants after UCF players put horns down, then Texas has no chance in this game. I just don't believe in the Longhorns. Now, for the second leg, Samford money line over Kansas. I talked about it earlier. The Jayhawks have no Kevin McCullough and a banged-up Hunter Dickinson, but the Bulldogs have one of the fastest paces in the entire country and take advantage of turnovers. Now, the third and final leg of this parlay, Charleston money line over Alabama. The Tide are ice cold, losers of 4 of their last 6. The Cougars are one of the better 3-point shooting teams in the country and have one of the deepest rotations in the tournament. So there it is, 10 pieces of gold on this parlay with the chance to win $345.30. I don't mess around, folks. This is an upset special. But it's not meant to make you upset. I understand the confusion. It'll turn that frown upside down. All right, let's recap the picks now. Lots of picks. I mean, I told you, it's March, it's madness, but these picks are certainly not madness. $10 on Auburn minus 12.5 versus number 13 Yale. $10 on Clemson versus New Mexico. I got New Mexico minus 2.5. Then I have another $10 on Gonzaga minus 5.5 versus McNeese State. Do not fall for the McNeese State propaganda. You just have to trust me here. I got 10 balloons on number 4 Duke versus number 13 Vermont, minus 12.5 for the Blue Devils. Then I got $10 on Oregon money line over South Carolina. Moving on here, I got the under in Kansas versus Samford of 152.5. Just two offenses that don't really put points up well with Kevin McCullough not playing in this tournament. Then I got Drake minus 1.5 over Washington State. By the way, earlier in the show, 11 Drake references for those. You can go back and watch it, try and count them up, see if you can find those. It's a little bit of a scavenger hunt, right? So Nebraska minus 1.5 against Texas A&M. My future, UConn to win the national title. I understand it's the favorite, but I'm not messing around here. I'm here to make money. And look at this parlay. Colorado State, Samford, and Charleston, all money line, $10 to win over 300. It's a big risk, but again, we're here to make some money. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you make the same picks I do, I'm telling you, you're going to be happy. Remember, it's March, it's madness. Happy dancing, folks, and enjoy the action.